anytime someone has like a vape, and there were like 4 of them circulating around. It's just the saying that we have is, "Hey, can you pass me that nonsense?" And it's just like, like someone just passes them a jolt. I don't know why that became a thing, but it's like, "Hey, can I say that nonsense over there? Anyone have
Yeah, but I
nonsense?"
love that. That is no, I'm a big fan of that.
That bar was sick. My only complaint was at one point, like these guys, they were a cover band, right? So they were playing the hits. Um, but I don't know how much music they were actually playing. That was the weird part. Like, so for example, Last Friday Night by Katy Perry came on, right?
Okay.
And these guys,
Certified banger.
yeah, absolutely a banger, right? You could hear Katy Perry's voice, okay? So they were basically playing the song, and it was almost like they took out like the drums and like one other instrument just so the guy on drums could play. You knew that it was him playing, but it was like a weird
but
mix.
it was like it was like they were just on the aux and they started singing along.
Exactly. What's up, boys and gals? Welcome back to Thoughts from the Bench on the Vault. It's your boy Smalls. Rocking the pits tonight because I had to. Team USA, we'll get into it in a little bit. I'm juiced as always to bring on my main man, Ben Fiore. Benny Buckets, how's it going?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you, man?
Dude, I'm juiced. I'm ready to go. I feel good. I had a few days off. Still got another week off before I start the new job. I'm feeling refreshed.
Hell yeah.
I'm feeling some American pride tonight, as you can tell with my attire. So like I'm coming off of a ski trip. I'm on planet. I'm on cloud 9 right now. I'll leave it at that.
First things first. The Pit Vipers, always classy. The hat, super huge fan. Like legitimately. Like that is like, I know it's very simple, but like I would wear that hat. Like I love that hat.
Yeah. I feel like you and I have a pretty similar taste in hats. I don't know what it is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I like a good trucker. You know, the truckers are kind of where it's at with like not the flat
Which
brim.
is weird. Yeah. Because like when I was a kid, like I hated them.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I was younger. And I had this weird obsession with hats, right? There was a point in my life, I had 56 at one point, was like my most ever. Like I was an idiot. I spent my like birthday and Christmas money and stuff like on like going to lids.
Yeah.
Okay. Like that was my thing. And like I had all these hats I wore like on a consistent basis. Like I only rotated through like 5 of them. You know what I mean? And I had 56 at one point. And that's one thing that like it's hard to sell a hat. Yeah. Because like, you know, your sweat and your hair and everything, like it's a more personal item than like a jersey or a hoodie or something. Like it's very hard to sell hats. So it was a lot of wasted money.
Yeah. Well, I have too many hats.
But for good hats, you definitely have one there. And I know you have several, but that one I don't think I've seen before. And I am obsessed with it. I love that hat.
Yeah, no, it's weird. I normally wear this one because it's like, it has like the athletic breathable material or whatever.
Yeah.
So I normally actually wear this to the gym, believe it or not. But
seems like a good golf hat too.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it's super comfortable. It's like flexible and all that. It's a nice hat. But I had to do it. We're in the middle of the Olympics, and we'll get to the topic in a sec. But we were talking before the show, and I had to stop you because you were kind of telling the story, right? But you had the opportunity to go to the game where Sidney Crosby, the GOAT, scored number 500. Take me through that.
So, first of all, it was an honor. Thank you, 87. Was just like, and I know we overuse the term electric on the show, right? I know that. Place was literally a ball of electricity. The barn was buzzing, dude. It was arguably the most, definitely the most like meaningful, but probably the craziest sporting event I've ever got to see live. And it's crazy because I was at work, right, and I ended up, being it. We actually had to reschedule the show because of me thinking I was going to get held late, and I actually only got held late by like an hour. But anyway, I was at work, and one of my coworkers asked me like, "Hey, do you think Sid's going to get it tonight?" And I was like, I don't know, man. I can't remember, who do we play? And he said, "Oh, we play the Flyers." And I said, wait. Are we home for that? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, because I knew Sid was at $4.99, right? Like I've been following the Pens, but I didn't remember who we played like that night. And so I was like, so you're telling me Sid's at $4.99. We're playing at home, and we're playing the filthy ass Philadelphia Flyers. Lock it in, dude. And I immediately bought tickets and went. Okay. So we go to the game, and first goal gets scored by Dominic Simone on a ricochet shot, right? Okay, then they score, filthy, dirty shenanigans. They probably jerked around with the ref's pocket money. And then we go on a power play, okay? And it was just, you could feel it, man. It was in the air. They're feeding Sid over and over again. And then in classic fashion, okay, Sid just slowly evades behind the defense, right? And he's on the right side of the goal, okay? He takes one step up, and Malkin was playing kind of like a defensive position. He's back on the left side near the blue line. And he fakes it to the left as if he's going to hit it to Gensel, brings it back, hits Sid. Sid's right there with an open right side of the net. Banger. Right in the top of the net, like maybe 3 feet away, just outside of the goalie's box, and scores. That place, it was like time stood still, dude. The place just freaking erupted. And I mean, I get that, like, Sid was the 46th player in NHL history to eclipse 500 goals, right? There's still so many people who played in the NHL, and that is a lot. Sid also has like 879 assists or whatever. Like, it's like, I mean, he's been the most well-rounded athlete in the NHL, I think, ever. Gretzky's even said that he thinks that Crosby's the greatest all time. I'm not going to get into that debate. That's kind of like a Jordan LeBron thing. So I'm not going to dive into that. But we all know that Sidney Crosby's on the Mount Rushmore of hockey, right? He's played here for 17 years. And, his first goal was at home, getting to see his now, I didn't see that, obviously, but getting to be in person for his 500th goal, it was just like, it was poetry, man. That place, I swear to God, I mean, everybody was on their feet. I saw literal, like, actual handicapped people standing up. Like, they defied the laws of science, because it was just an honor, a tip of the cap to Sidney, man. I mean, arguably the best hockey player of all time. He's had one of the greatest careers, period, being able to do it all in one location. You know what I mean? And then against our most bitter rival and the worst scum of the earth people on the planet. I mean, come on, man. What better story could there be written? His parents were there, right? All his teammates were there. It was assisted by Malkin. I was there. It was like all these things were just supposed to happen. That's how it was supposed to go. It was a beautiful moment. And honestly, like, probably the coolest thing I've ever got to see live in the sports world.
Yeah. So I've been to I've had the opportunity to be in attendance for some pretty cool sports moments. Just Penn State beating Ohio State is probably at the top of my list. I went to the 9/11 game between Mets Yankees in New York. That was awesome. I've been to a Red Sox Yankees game.
Dude.
Yeah, Red Sox Yankees was absurd. That just one of the best like sports atmospheres I've ever felt on like a regular season. Like, you wouldn't expect it. Obviously, it's Red Sox Yankees.
Well, no, I expected, especially, like, I remember you were sending me videos and stuff. Like, it was like, at that point, I was living vicariously through you, because I was like, holy hell, dude. Like, you witnessed what is said to be like the greatest rivalry in sports. You know what I mean? So, like,
you could feel the place. You could feel the place buzzing, right? I was also in attendance. What year was it? 16? Yeah, I think it was 16 when we beat the Caps in 6 games at home. I was there for game 6. Benino, Benino,
Oh, that's
Benino. I
awesome.
was there for that game. That I think, and that I can't really pick which one was better between that and my Penn State game that I mentioned. But there's something to be said about, I guess it's PPG now, but there's something to be said about that barn going crazy. And I gotta admit, I'm still jealous after all the games that I just mentioned that I've been to. I think that's the one that I wish I would have been to the most, because that is such like a once in a lifetime thing to see one of the goats be able to do in an atmosphere like PPG. I'm so happy that you were able to do that.
Well, I appreciate that. And I mean, I had to. And trust me, I mean, like, it was day of tickets and we got pretty good seats. Like, we were in the 100 section, right? Like, we wanted to make sure we were at least down. And we were, I think, like, it was like 15 rows back or what. Like, it was if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. This is history about to be made. And now, granted, Sid could have not scored,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, that
Yeah.
definitely could have happened. But it was like you just knew, man, there was too much that lined up. There was something in the air. You just knew with all those factors being there, he had to score. So it was one of those things. I mean, my wallet was not happy with it, but my heart was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just honestly like I know that this sounds weird because I've never actually met the guy or anything, but like as a Pittsburgh sports fan, like I was truly honored to be able to witness that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was just the coolest thing that I've gotten to see. And especially, you know, you and I have talked endlessly about how big of Pens fans we were growing up because, you know, we grew up in hockey town and that was a big deal to us. And especially Sid being like the savior of our city. He's brought 3 cups here, you know, and he's, when has Pittsburgh ever had a person like, and I guess Lemieux was the closest,
Lemieux.
but somebody who was in the conversation for like the best all time at their sport. We've had countless Hall of Famers in all 3 major sports, but like Sid just means something a little more, you know? And that's like, it's hard to, like, I had someone ask me the other day, whose career meant more to the city, Sidney or Ben? And like, that's a super tough one to get into, but I just feel like Sidney has been considered the best at what he's done forever. Ben has never even been the best quarterback in a single year because he's always had to deal with Tom or Peyton or now Pat Mahomes or somebody like that, right? Like there's always been one of those guys who was able to edge him out a little more. Even when he won the Super Bowl, it was never like they were never going to give Ben his flowers for being the best in the league. Whereas like it's pretty much a consensus that Sidney's the best in the world, you know? And he's got an Olympic gold medal on top of that. Like, dude has done it at every level from being a teenager and on. So it was like getting to see him in the NHL where he has built his legacy, get his 500th win at home against the worst people ever. And it was an overtime win. That was the coolest moment of my life because you know how much I loathe Philadelphia, their city, their fans, and especially that team and the Flyers, to be able to get an overtime win and Sid's 500th goal. That's got to be probably my favorite game I've ever been to of any sport.
Yeah, and you really, I can't argue with any of that. I think you're right. If I had to pick between Ben and Sid, I would lean Sid, and I'll tell you why. He came on and he was drafted at the perfect time, at a time where the franchise was up in the air as far as getting sold, and him coming up with Gino, with Letang, saved that team and saved the franchise. Lemieux, I would really attribute it to Lemieux, Crosby, and Gino, and probably Fleury too. Like that core of guys,
Flower for sure.
Yeah, that core of guys keeping that franchise there that meant so much. Like there aren't a ton of places in the NHL that hockey means as much as what it does to the city of Pittsburgh. Outside of I would argue
few.
like
There's
maybe Boston and maybe like Toronto, any of the Canadian teams, obviously, but like I'm talking US.
And I mean I think Detroit, just because Now they've been terrible for a while, but that was the only thing they could hang over.
They're going to start turning around, I think, soon. Yeah.
But the Red Wings are a legendary franchise.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. So, but like you said, though, it's still a finite amount of towns who value their hockey team as much as Pittsburgh does. So I think it was just like, I mean, we were almost the Kansas City Penguins at one point.
Yeah.
Sidney comes in and Lemieux is like, hey, we have more to fight for. We're keeping it in Pittsburgh. And I don't know, man. And I think it's just like Sid is such a Pittsburgh guy. Like, obviously he's from Canada or whatever, but like he has embodied the city kind of like Ben. And I think that's why people associate them in, like, you know, they both brought multiple championships to the city and things like that. But regardless of where you put them, even if you hate the guy, and there are a lot of people who hate him, I feel like it's kind of like a Brady thing. Like, people hate him with how successful he is, but you've got to at least respect what Sid has been able to do for so long, that, you know, he has been the best for 17 years. And arguably, I'll say, give or take, like, there's been a couple of years where people are like, oh, Ovechkin had the better year. Out of Sid's 17 years in the league, I got to say he was the best player in the league for 12 of them. You know what I mean? I'm like, the guy has just had a career like almost no other. The closest person you could relate him to is Gretzky, I feel like.
I think I could definitely. So I think right now the Oilers are definitely kind of a dumpster fire, but I do think that McDavid right now is the best player in the NHL. It just sucks that he's playing on that team. I think it's kind of been that way for a few years now. I think the difference, though, is that Sid just puts it all together, and that's why I do think that he is the best overall. And I think Sid, something to be said there is Sid is really good at making teammates around him great, because you even think about people that have played with him that really didn't do anything elsewhere, you know, whereas like McDavid, and now he kind of needs to be, but like he's a one-man show. I feel like he's not as good with getting his teammates involved, but that's because he knows even if he did, it really wouldn't do anything because they're terrible. Yeah, he's got one or two guys. He's got like one or two guys.
He has to do everything. So, but like, I just feel like, and that's the thing, is people are like, oh, because Ovechkin, granted, potentially the greatest goal scorer of all time. Like him and Gretzky,
I'll give him that.
Up there.
Absolutely.
Greatest finishers, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Ovechkin, as of tonight, I think has 759. Like, dude is a machine, okay? But Sid kills him in every other category. You know what I mean? So it's like, like in Ovechkin, I think deserves to be up there too. But I think that if we're talking, you know, all-time greats, Pittsburgh has 3 and maybe 4 of the top 10 NHL players of all time. So, because I got to throw Lemieux, Sidney, Yager, and Malkin in there. I feel you've got to be able to give those guys their flowers and accept that Pittsburgh's a damn good hockey city. You know what I mean? So, and we just keep cranking out talent. And I'll tell you what, though, it is a shame. I wish Sid had another crack at a gold medal. But he can't, because the NHL won't let them participate in what we are going to cover. So we talked about that for a while, but I needed to hear about that. I really, because I mean, like we always, we are fans first and foremost. I think that's absolutely
number one. So I had to ask about it, and it's awesome that you were able to go. So before we get started, hey, go like and subscribe. This video, share it. I sound like a damn YouTuber, but it is important. We do want to grow the show, so go like this video, share this video, go subscribe to the TFTB channel on YouTube.
Hey, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. Yeah, but like in one flow, and share it. You know,
be a friend, tell a friend.
If you like Smalls, okay, if you like me, right? If you like anything that we cover on the show or anything about it, at least even give it a share. Give other people an option to potentially fall in love with the content that we produce. Be a friend, tell a friend, share this.
Yep. And only other thing I want to add is Ben is not drinking tonight, which is fine. He has other obligations and he's been responsible, so I can't talk crap on that. Still trying not to swear.
Thank you.
So I can't talk bad on that. However, if you can't tell, it's a USA theme tonight, so I'm being a good old boy, drinking some Bullet bourbon.
All right.
You know what it is. And without further ado, we're gonna get into our ad read. I'll take this one this week. So, this week's topic is brought to you by Marshall Fitness. Marshall Fitness is run by a very good friend of the show, Will Marshall. This guy, he's a certified trainer. He will work with you with your work schedule, your life schedule, your workout needs, your dietary needs, whatever you need to do to get the most out of what you want to get done fitness wise. He's also doing a really cool program now where like the former athlete program, where basically it's a 12-week workout program where if you played sports in high school and you want to kind of get back to feeling like you did back in high school or college or whatever, he'll help you get there because he knows exactly what he's doing. The best time to start is now, so please go hit up Will to meet all your fitness needs. You can find him on Facebook, on his Facebook page, Marshall Fitness. You can also find some sick gym gear there as well. You can also hit him up on Instagram at willmarshall_1. Yeah, the best time to start is now. Benny, this week we're doing the Winter Olympics. I think this is perfect timing, obviously, because I'm watching it right now. So, like, perfect timing. The Winter Olympics, I would say, outside of the Super Bowl and March Madness, personally, I don't know if many people would agree, personally, this is one of my favorite sporting events, periods of time, period. Like, playoff hockey's up there. Like, there are a few other things that are definitely up there. But, and I'm not even talking about the Summer Olympics. I like the Summer Olympics. I love the Winter Olympics. Growing up, I was obsessed with the Winter Olympics. I remember I would pretend I was speed skating in my living room because I was obsessed with the Winter Olympics. like it was like, there's something about the Winter Olympics that is so cool, and you can talk all you want about, oh yeah, it's 17 different ways to float across the ice. Oh sure, but like, come on, there are some cool sports going on in the Winter Olympics, and I mean, it's a perfect time to do it because I mean they're literally going on right now. It's personally one of my favorite periods of sports at all.
Oh, and they are by far and away cooler than the Summer Olympics. And anybody who wants to argue that, we'll set up a separate pod event and we can have a debate if you'd like. The Winter Olympics are far superior, okay? And I think it's because, like, anybody can really do any of the Summer Olympic stuffs at any time of year, right? You got to be able to, like, at any location. For these Winter Olympic things, you have to go to specific places to train, to keep yourself all year, because it is weather dependent most of the time, right? Like, you need things to practice on or whatever. You have to go to a facility. Like, I mean, you go just find a place with a pool, you're already doing swimming for the Summer Olympics. You'll find somewhere that has ground. You can do everything else. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the Winter Olympics, you need so much more. And there's less people who do it. You know what I mean? And it's like, so you really are getting the most abstract, best of the best. And some of these events are just so exciting to watch that, like, it's one of the few things that I'm totally locked in on. Stuff that I probably won't even watch elsewhere for another 4 years, but that's what builds it up to make it so much more exciting. Like, I'll be honest, okay? Curling, I'm not trying to find it on the internet in the summer of 2017, right? But I'm watching every single curling match during the Winter Olympics. You know what I mean? Like, I get all into it. The bobsledding, everything, dude. It sucks that my favorite part of the Winter Olympics being men's hockey with the NHL not letting them go. That sucks, but there's still so much to watch, so much to root for. And the U.S. is finally starting to get their wheels turning towards this back half of the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other thing too that I love about the Winter Olympics, I would say I don't know, it might be a weird thing to say, but it is far more dangerous as a whole. Like, they're moving at such high speeds in almost all of these sports. You got to think about, dude, the alpine skiing, the downhill skiing is absurd.
It's insane.
They're literally moving at like between 60 and 100 miles per hour, depending on the event. You got, dude. I'm gonna cover either. I'm not gonna give away which one, but just the bobsled, skeleton, luge. Those things are insane because I mean you're just going down literally a slide on ice, sometimes head first, and
Yeah.
dude, and like I mean snowboarding. You got literally some of the most dangerous sports that you can do because you're moving so fast at times. And curling,
Yeah.
I thought you were about to talk trash on curling. I love
Not at
curling.
all.
I
Not
love
at all.
curling.
I'm just saying, like, I'm probably not going to be like researching
I
it
agree.
off season,
I agree.
but for the Olympics, I swear to God, on whatever you want me to put it on, I have reminders set for whenever curling matches are happening. Like, well, I did it for a couple teams, like, cause you marked them as your favorites or whatever. So a couple countries, but like, I pretty much just selected all the ones that have curling teams in. And so I know anytime that a curling team is coming on,
Yeah.
at least for the Winter Olympics, I mean, I watch it all, dude.
Yeah.
So they're just, but like you said, man, there's so much, and it does. Every time you're watching something, it feels like there's so much at stake. So
Mhm.
I'm really happy that we're letting the Winter Olympics shine in this episode.
Yeah, 100%. Ben, let's just jump right into it.
Absolutely.
What do you got for your first one?
Listen, there might be some controversy with this pick because of external reasons. This is a fire kit for a goalie. Okay, obviously the red and yellow is a staple with the Chinese as a whole in that country, right? But I really do like starting off with the jersey. I really genuinely like the font. I think that it's crisp and smooth all at the same time. I like the setup of the jersey of like the banner across the chest. And really lets that yellow China pop out. But then you gotta respect the freaking dragons on the goalie leg pads. How badass is that? There is not a single, like, this makes me want to go watch Bruce Lee movies. This is having me practice kung fu in my living room. This gets me pumped up, dude. And I'll tell you what, women's hockey, they typically like piggyback off of what the men are doing or whatever. This bad broad right here was like, I do not want plain red goalie pads. Throw some dragons on there. Let these other women fear me. And I think she accomplished it, dude. This is fire as hell. One of my favorite kits I've ever seen from a goalie, period, let alone the Olympics or NHL or the women's league or anything like that. This is one of my favorite looks, period.
Yeah, you don't see very often with goalies, whether it's NHL, whatever you want to talk about. Hockey normally is all about the mask, right? This
Exactly.
truly is one of the first times I've seen the pads like show some they're expressing some of the personality of the country on the pads. That's really cool. Like, and again, you can disagree about we can talk about the whole Chinese thing outside of this, but like it's a really really cool look. I mean, dude, what other like uniform fit, whatever else you want to call it, the dragon, there's something about the dragon. It just
Dude,
hits different,
it's
dude.
so
It just
cool.
hits different.
It's so cool, man. It is like, and it's something that, like, I'll be honest, and it's weird, but like if I saw like a kid in high school with these on, right, like playing hockey against, I'm like, oh,
All right.
you're the
Yeah.
worst,
Yeah.
like, oh, you were the worst kind of guy. But for whatever reason, I think maybe because it is culturally appropriate, right? And it accentuates their culture, and I think the way that the gold pops off of the red, and it being for the Olympics is just like all those factors add into this is badass. You know what I mean? But like if I saw it elsewhere, I saw some guy doing it somewhere else or some lady doing it like in like a rec league or something, I'd
Yeah,
probably
dude.
be like, okay, that's a bit much. But like here, the pinnacle, like the height of your sport to be able to pull off something that flashy, but also be fierce at the same time is so cool.
Yeah, dude. If I saw some dude at the Mutiny tournament wearing these, I'd be like, all
Yeah.
right, buddy, get out of here. But like, no, these are no. This is awesome. Like you said, it is culturally appropriate because I mean that is like one of the staples, I guess, of Chinese culture and history, right? But dude, there's something about those dragons that just hits different. I don't know what it is, and I don't think it's really going to be a controversial pick because it is it's so unique and like you've never seen this before.
And that's the biggest thing is like even if you looked up, like I couldn't even really compare much to this, you know what I mean? And if you did, it would be off a technicality. Like there's nothing just like it, you know? So big props to the Chinese women's hockey team goalie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fire first pick. I'm going to move on to our second
Match
choice.
me, buddy. Let's go.
So, if you know anything about me, I was just telling Ben before the show, I was just up in. Oh boy, I really screwed this picture up here. I'm gonna fix this real quick. But dude, I'm an avid skier. There's something about snow sports that I just love watching, and it doesn't get much better than the 2018 Canadian snowboarding team sporting these sweater themed jackets, right? So normally I would think this is kind of tacky. I think if it was in any other context, I don't think that this would really work, right? But there's something about the Winter Olympics, and you're gonna see like just athletes down in Olympic Village, some of the fans. There's something about a sweater that just screams Winter Olympics. I don't know what it is. And of course, Burton Snowboarding, which is like the pinnacle of snowboarding gear and just really snow sports gear in general, they came out with some fire. And there's also some meaning behind it too. The design is actually, it pays homage to like the native peoples of Canada, some of the tribes up there. And there's just something about these jackets that hit different. And like I said, normally I think that I would think that it's tacky, right? But they pull it off. It's super recognizable, super unique, and like while it's funny, it's also at the same time kind of cool and not something that you see every day. And frankly, if I could, I would buy this. They never release it to the public. You will probably never be able to buy one of these. But it's something so like cool and unique. And like I said, well, it's kind of funny. It's also kind of dope because there's something about the Winter Olympics that screams knit sweater. I don't know, and I might be alone in that, but like especially with Burton coming out of it, like I said, I'm an avid skier. There's something about Burton pulling this off the way that they did that is awesome.
I think these are beautiful, dude. For real. I love this pick. Just because like you said, they have the feel of a knit sweater, but it's still that I don't know what you would call it, but the material that snowboarding jackets are made of. I don't want to sound like an idiot and say the swishy stuff, but the swishy stuff. and I really like, I mean, just the subtle accents, like even the Canadian patch that's all red with the guy to what would be, I think, your right, or at least that's the way I'm looking at it right now on the right. Like, I love that. I think that's a great subtle detail. And I like the uniformism with being a little more unique, because you see a lot of people or snowboarders or whatever, they're either wearing like a bland color and it's like their own, you know what I mean? It's not like a team thing as much, or if it is a team thing, it's super one-dimensional. Whereas this hits in every way. So yeah, man, great first pick. And I would rock one of these if we could get them, but unfortunately seems like a no-go.
Yeah, I saw these and I was like, I wonder if I can get this, because I'm always looking out for like dope new stuff to wear out on the slopes.
Oh yeah, you got to have like a little retro vintage tin or whatever. And like you said, not to mention that Burton, which is like the Nike of that environment, putting that out is also super dope. So that's kind of like, if they ever did release it, that's a must-have.
Yeah, it's also it's hilarious. It looks like a sweater. It's not like they just kind of like half-assed it. It looks like a sweater. I thought these guys were just straight up wearing sweaters, and it's not. But like, you can kind of see like the knit and the loops or whatever you want to call it of the actual sweater. But the like you said, the logo on that sleeve is perfect. I feel like Canada often comes out with some heat. I know it's a silly country, all those.
Oh, they're a super silly country, but that doesn't mean they do everything wrong.
Yeah,
you know.
No, and like I said, there's something about like the snow sports, like freestyle skiing and snowboarding. I think are some of 'em- I would say it's like probably men's hockey and women's hockey, honestly, because the U.S. women are like giants. Um,
Dogs. Yeah.
but like there's something about the snow. I would say it's like hockey and then snow sports for me. Any kind of snow sports besides cross country skiing. Screw that noise. I almost said the F word
Yeah.
there, um, but there's
Good
something about
catch.
yeah, there's something about dude. Snowboarding is between dude. I remember just growing up watching Shaun White and thinking that he was. I had a pick until I found these. I had him in my top three. Um, because
Yeah.
he's such a legend. I just grew up watching it, and there's something cool about snowboarding, and they nailed it. They nailed it. Like they could have gone with any other. And like I said, there's meaning behind it. It's not just like, oh, let's just make a silly sweater. Like there's like art behind it that kind of pays homage to like their heritage, right? And I feel like Canada probably does a much better job at that than the U.S. ever has. Like they do kind of take into consideration like that culture, right? That is built into their culture a little bit. So, dude, these are fire. If I could buy it, I definitely would.
Have to.
Yeah. Benning, let's get on to your second pick.
All right. My second one here is a little similar, but not so much. 2018 USA ski team. Okay. And the reason that I picked these, I actually like when looking certain things up, like, because I remember these personally from like watching the Olympics in 2018, right? I remember like a lot of people not digging these. I kind of do, and I'll tell you why, because they're for weird reasons. I love that they kind of look like the U.S. Postal Service. Okay. I don't know why. I kind of like it. And the way that I was putting it back then was that's because we're mailing in a gold medal. Okay. And that's the way that we iron things out here in the United States because that's what we do. We bring in hardware, baby. And these guys at least look ready to do so. I really like the white pants. I think that's underrated. I know that, there's a lot of solidarity there and it doesn't vary much in color or design, but I actually really like it. I think it's clean. I like that the USA is kind of on the more so the lower torso because you can still kind of see that even if they have their numbers on or anything like that. Like they're really able to accentuate it. They did a really good job with keeping it red, white, and blue. And I like that the red was more of an accent than a predominant color, whereas the blue and the white. Smalls that kind of give you that Penn State feel, but with a touch of red in there. I really like the blue and white combination. I think it's subtle. I like the font that they let it be a little new school and old school. They combine that retro and new school vibe, which a lot of people fail at usually. You and I have roasted people for attempting to do that before, but I actually think the U.S. got it right on the head, and I love these.
Yeah, it almost looks like whiteboard marker, and not in a bad way. I'm just saying it almost.
Yeah, it's very like freehand type deal.
Which especially the stars, dude, and it's in no way is that a knock. It's kind of interesting. I think if anything, it kind of fits. What's weird about these, and again, I'm just gonna sound like someone who's obsessed with skiing and snowboarding, but like Spider, I'm gonna sound like a nerd here, but Spider for the most part, I would say they design snow gear for guys in their 40s. It's the high tech, plain, crisp, like bright red stuff.
Guys in their 40s who have done well for themselves because it is extremely expensive.
Exactly.
Like almost too much. But they did it okay here.
They did. They did a great job. At first you sent this in and I was like, dude, what is going on with the collar? It almost the first thing I thought of, and I'm glad that they didn't actually do this. It almost looked like a an old like a 70s soccer jersey. It almost looks like it has a collar,
like a polo type deal.
But
yeah.
I'm glad, obviously, that they didn't go that route. It literally just the way that it kind of lines up. But no, these are fire. Like the white pants, I think are a great look. And maybe that's just me.
Dude, an underrated aspect. Genuinely, like I said, like that's like I really think that ties everything together. Like I think it would have been too much if they had blue pants or even red pants. You know what I mean? Like red over blue for sure, just to balance things out. But I feel like white was like the best choice for them. I know some people kind of counter that with like, oh, well, they're doing a sport in snow. Why would they be wearing white? But like, I don't know, man. I think that kind of adds to it, and it's only half the uniform. But I just feel like it looks super clean, and I really dig that choice.
Yeah, no, yeah, it looks old school, but also kind of new. They did a really good job with this. I'm a huge fan. All right, let's move on to my second pick. Flames.
Fire, dude.
All right, so I'm just gonna start off by saying this. I'm gonna curse here, so sorry, Deacon Chip. Skeleton is a fucking crazy sport. Skeleton is a goddamn crazy sport, dude. You are literally flying down a sheet of ice in a slide at 85 miles an hour plus, and you're going down head first. Dude, I'm pretty sure there's a stat out there, like, almost every Olympics, someone dies. Like, skeleton is a crazy sport because if you watch these guys, they're literally going up and down that track the entire time. And if they go too high or too low, they're flying off, dude. Skeleton, first of all, is a crazy sport, and you're a maniac if you do it. Having said that, this is flames. Like, this makes me think of, and it's mostly because of the helmet, which is the centerpiece. And actually, let me just start with the actual uniform or kit or whatever you call this. Let me start with that by itself. So the blue camo, you can't really see underneath the penny or whatever with their number on it. But the camo, that blue camo is cool without being too try hard. I think that did a really good job on the camo. But obviously the main centerpiece of this pick, it truly is the eagle on the helmet, dude. This makes me think of literally like a bald eagle dive bombing down the track to snatch the gold while Leonard Skinner is playing Freebird in the background. This is this is like the most American pick. This is the most American look that you can think of, and not even like in a bad way, because you got to think about it. These people were out there, like, a lot of these Olympians really are just proud to be from the countries that they're from, because they are there.
Truly.
Like, you can't say the same thing about like basketball or like sometimes even hockey. Like, a lot of these sports, they are there to represent their country. And Katie Oolander,
this was their goal, because like you figure, like you said, with other sports, like they have the NHL to get to, the NBA to get to, the NFL to get to. Like, these people's pro league is the Olympics simply for their country. You know what I mean? And I mean, you talking about the eagle, but then even like the star on the chin, the red and white stripes behind the helmet. The helmet is legitimately and figuratively a work of art. It is beautiful. It's so well done. And, I got a hard on for all the America stuff. So that is just super cool to me. And like you said, I mean, these people that are doing this sport, they got to be suicidal, right? I mean, like, it's like you got to at least have that thought, or like you were like the world's largest thrill junkie. Like, dude,
there's something wrong in their brains. It's like there's a wire,
a stem snapped. Something's not right.
Yeah, no, that's like it's a known thing. Like, the action sports people, there's something in their head that is not wired the way that the rest of society is, because they just go and they don't even think about it. And like I said, 85 miles an hour on a thing that you can't control.
Like, people were, and they'll probably relate, because I really like the bobsled stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like 3-man team. And then this year in the Olympics, they introduced Monobob, which is a bobsled with just one person. And it's crazy because it's like 350 pounds, that sled. And then you hop in it. They push it like they're trying to get the grocery cart out of the rain. And then they hop in and go down. And like, I think that's crazy because they get up to anywhere like 75 miles per hour, but they're in this tube, right? That is still going to mess them up, but protect them more than this. They're on a damn toboggan sled going almost 100 miles an hour, head first, with nothing
first
around them to protect them but that helmet. Like the helmet, if anything, is just like a hood ornament. That ain't saving your life, dude. I mean, it is crazy. These people are legitimately crazy, but on behalf of America, we love you, you psychopaths. So good on you.
Yeah, dude, yeah. Kayla Oolander is what a legend she is. She's never won gold, which I don't want to say she's a disappointment, because I was looking into it, and I'm probably gonna watch a documentary. Apparently, she's had to go through a lot of stuff. Like there's like a lot of family stuff that like she's had to go through. She's like a name. She's like a name to know in this sport, right? But like, she makes Evel Knievel look like a chump with this damn helmet.
Hell yeah!
Like this is, again, I feel like I've been swearing. I don't care. This is a bad bitch. This is a bad bitch.
Hell yeah! Good for her, dude.
A bad bitch, and like I'm pretty sure, like I swear they use this helmet in Team America. Like this is as American as it gets, with not even in like an ironic sense. This is like I said, a screaming eagle dive bombing to snatch that gold. It is just so cool to see.
It's a statement piece.
It really is, and it's also kind of cool that they have a sport that they can do this. One of the picks I think I might pull it up probably at the end, but I have an honorable mention at the end, but I want to pull this up. I want to say it was a Korean or a Japanese guy or something. There's another skeletoner. I don't know what the word is there, but there's another person that does skeleton, right? It was an Iron Man helmet. That's cool.
Oh, that's dope.
That's dope.
I think we should call them Skeletors.
Skeletors. I like that. That. But dude, salutes to you, Katie. Badass bitch. I'll say it again. I don't care. All right, Benny. What do you got?
All right, final pick. Okay. This is reaching my inner Peaky Blinder. Okay. These are just cold, man. I mean, so this was, now they're the Russian Olympic Committee, but back then in the 90s, were they the USSR still, or were they
this
just
was Russia? You can see the flag. This was Russia.
Okay. So they were just Russia back then. I mean, genuinely handsome, clean cut, stone cold killers. They came to put the Winter Olympics away. Look at in uniform. And I get that, like, there's sometimes where countries, like, they'll have like similar things, but they're not like uniform, or they'll have one person like take an article off or add an article or whatever. So each person got their own thing. They were like, we're all coming like this. And it's not super braggy, like, about their country, right? Because it's gray. It is like, we are emotionless, gray, nameless faces that are about to bury you. That's what Russia does pretty much in real life, but then here in the Olympics as well. And obviously they're carrying the flags because you kind of have to at the opening ceremony. But, I mean, they just look badass. It is one of the coolest looks I've seen. And to me, if I'm another Olympian, like, I guess like in the solo sports, you don't see each other like on your field of play as much. But if you're doing a team sport or something where you do go head to head, this is probably intimidating me to the point where I actually poop my pants. Like, they look like old school gangsters. Like, they should be pulling out Tommy guns. And instead they were like, we're taking different hardware and we're going to bring some medals back to the country. This is one of the cleanest, toughest looks I've ever seen. And I love everything about it.
Dude, I was just going to say, I feel like I look at these guys, and if I saw these guys in real life, I thought that I think they might cap me and put me in a trunk. Like, I'm not even kidding. Yeah. Like, they look like gangsters. They look like 1950s gangsters. And I mean, it's cold, dude. I mean, first of all, Russians are robots. I think most people would agree with that.
Certified. Yeah. It's there.
But like, dude, it's intimidating. Like, these guys look like they want to shoot someone and put them in their trunk. Like, as graphic as that is.
It's like, well, what are you doing here? I want to crush you. Like, that is exactly what they're doing at all times. And this was a physical and an aesthetic statement to prove they will crush you. Yeah, that is Estrogena, Granada. Like, they were there to ruin you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what they were saying. And hey, you got to think, this was also the opening ceremony. This is the first you were getting to lay eyes on them. They were like, hey, right here, right now, we're stating our claim. We're not here to mess around.
Yeah, and you also got to think too, dude. This is definitely fresh. It might have been one, if not the first, one of the first Olympic appearances by the country of Russia, because the Soviets had just kind of folded right before this, right? So I feel like they knew they got to come out with something, and like they weren't there to crush you or your team; they were there to crush your spirit.
Yeah. They were trying to hit you on a mental and emotional level, not just a physical level. Like they were there to run tables. And in Russia, I mean, it's literally, I don't think it's ever been warm in Russia. So like Winter Olympics are perfect for them. But this man,
a lot of soup.
I had to throw this on there. Is my last pick is the precipice of like ice cold looks for the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, no. So I also saw these, and they made. We talked about this last year. There were some other picks that I thought about putting in here, but then I remembered last year when we talked about this with Will, when we had sponsored the show, Will Marshall on the show. We did Olympic fits last year, and Dick. But do you remember our guy Dick Button?
Dick Button. I almost put him in again, but I didn't want to be redundant. So yeah.
But like they were like, this looks like a call to Dick Button, and like I was like, kind of, a little bit, yeah, but like in a completely different way.
I could see Dick rocking one of these,
dude. What a name, dude! Dick Button.
Dick Button, dude. Dick would look so hard in this outfit.
He probably did. What do you mean? He probably would. He wore this. I guarantee he wore this.
Yeah. Like, Dick was rock hard wearing these.
Yeah,
he was
that is
stone cold killer. Dick Button.
Dick Button. All right, let's get to our last pick here. So, Captain America.
No better way to end it.
Captain America. So, if you grew up, obviously, when me and Benny did, I remember watching this game. I literally remember coming home from school and watching this game. 2014. You know what? I'll put him on. This deserves it.
It deserves it. Yeah,
it deserves it. So 2014, open up men's hockey, right? And this was when all the NHL stars are playing in the Olympics, right? Yeah, all the stars come out and play. The Russian team was stacked. You got Bobrovsky in goal. You got Malkin. You got Ovechkin. You got who's the guy on the damn Red Wings? Like the legend on the Red Wings. The Russian team was stacked. Datsuk, yeah, Pavel Datsuk. The Russian team was stacked. And not that the US team wasn't. They had a few lookers of their own. But it was in the opening rounds, right? And no one, I wouldn't say that anyone was super confident in U.S. hockey at the time, especially playing in Russia. And Russia loves hockey, right? So I'm just painting the picture. You go into the game, game's tied 2-2, going into OT. No score in OT. You go to a shootout. I forget who the other I think Pavelski was shooting. I forget who the other shooter was, but TJ Oshie, who at the name he was a no-name at the time. Like, that was my first time really knowing who TJ Oshie was. He was on the Blues at the time. He goes in and scores. He scores one of the shootout goals. Obviously, it's 3 against 3 shooters, right? Tied after 3 shooters. So they go to sudden death. TJ Oshie, I swear, I just remember thinking, oh my God, they're sending him out again. Because international rules allowed for a shooter to be sent out more than once. You couldn't just
NHL does not.
Exactly.
That's a key point. NHL doesn't, but international does.
Exactly. So I just remember thinking, oh my God, he's going again. They literally sent him out there 5 straight times after the first 3 shooters. He goes, what was it, 4 for 6 in a shootout.
Total, yeah.
He literally put the team on his back, though, to the point where everyone in in the United States was literally calling him Captain America. Like, this guy just in again, this wasn't a time where like the country really needed to be united or anything like that, but it felt Miracle on Ice ish. Now, it wasn't to that stage, it wasn't to that point quite yet, but there was something about this dude going out time after time after time after time and going 4 for 6 in a shootout against Bobrovsky, who was an elite goalie. Like, Bob was an elite goalie, and he still put 6 past him. And he did it over and over and over again through 8 rounds of shootout hockey. And every time, I just remember watching this game saying, they can't be sending him out again. They can't be. And they did over and over and over again. And I just remember after the game, he had that quote, what was it? Real heroes wear camo. And that was it. He was a staple forever. I don't even think of TJ Oshie on the Caps at this point. I think of TJ Oshie.
No, you can't.
On this team. I think of this moment of when I think about TJ Oshie, because it was a little known name that was just had sick dangles and could just put it past the goalie, dude. And the U.S., they took 4th. It was kind of a letdown at the time, but dude, what? And the jersey itself, I would say, is actually crisp. The crest is awesome. The tubing's awesome. The stars, they didn't go too, they went like reflective on that like kind of rubbery plastic look on the shoulders without making it too in your face, which I think is a good choice. But overall, a sick jersey by Nike. But I remember this game where TJ Oshie literally, and he didn't know it, he didn't think of anything of it at the time, but he put the country on his back, and everyone probably made it out to be a bigger deal than it actually was, but he put the country on his back.
And to your point about the jersey, these are still my favorite U.S. uniforms for our hockey team ever. Like, I actually genuinely love the uniform.
Even outside of 1980.
Yeah, those were trash. It was a beautiful thing that we had, right? And that's awesome, like the moment. But the jerseys themselves,
they were classics, dude. I don't know. I liked them. They're good.
Yeah, and I'm sure a middle school hockey team has the same ones. It is what it is. But these go hard as hell. I love the way they look, and I actually kind of dig the reflective star look. I'll be honest. Because if they made them white, it would have ruined the jersey, yep. I think. I think that what they did was great. The crest is undefeated. The shade of the dark blue was perfect. I love everything about it. And in regards to this moment, TJ Oshie, he was a young kid on the Blues, was just getting his feet wet in the NHL, so no one expected much from him. Then it was like, hey, we're just going to feed the hot hand. Him doing what he was able to do. Do you know how hard it is to score in a shootout? Smalls, you and I, we've been in them for soccer, right, and things like that. Similar thing, it's one-on-one to the net, right? The nerves alone for one shot to do it 6 times and then convert on over half and literally carry the team to a monumental victory against Big Bad Russia, who was unbeatable, right? And we do it with, I'll be honest, a lackluster team was remarkable, right? Mm-hmm. The fact that we were able to do that with not our strongest group and be able to have TJ Oshie rise from the ashes, baby-faced kid, great lettuce, excellent hockey player, put it on display for literally the world to see. That's what made the country fall in love with TJ Oshie, and that's why I don't hold the Caps against them. But, I mean, this moment was one of those, where you were watching this game, right? And it was a badass look too. So all around, perfect way to eclipse the show.
Yeah. So Ben, do you remember did you watch this game live? Because I remember watching this game live.
Right, coming home from school.
Yeah, yep. I was in my living room, and
this was your senior year. This is your senior year. Mm-hmm. I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and dude, there was something. It was unbelievable. Like I said, I just kept thinking, oh my God, they're sending him out again. Again, and he missed twice, but dude, he couldn't be in reality, going 4 for 6 in a shootout is unbelievable.
Is unheard of because the goalie technically has the advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think that what he did was remarkable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So I got one honorable mention, and I had the other picks I had were better, so I couldn't put it in there. This one's more of a funny pick. I got an honorable mention.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, the snow globes. I think this was in France. It was the
I don't
92.
remember this at all. When was 92?
92,
Yeah.
yeah, 92 in France, and it was like they always have that one person with the sign of the country leading out front.
Yeah, the
And
host. Yeah,
they were on goddamn snow globes, dude. It like what a look, dude. What a look. Like this is great. I had it in there, and I couldn't keep it in, but like I had to at least mention it. I had to mention.
they were like,
it.
instead of bubble soccer,
Yeah.
we're gonna put this thing to real use. And then they went out and they did this. That is hilarious, dude. I love it.
Yeah, do you think so? Looking at this, I can't tell. I didn't look up any videos of it. Do you think that the snow inside is actually floating around? I feel like it has to be, right?
We're like, it's like there's like another layer and it's like in a lining. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
or there's like air or something. Like there's got to be something like blowing through it, or
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of space in there, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you? So these people, whether guys or girls, so if you sign up for, I don't even know what this job is. I don't know what you would call it. I don't know how you sign up for it. I don't know what goes through someone's head to be like, I want to be the person leading like an entire country in the ceremony, right?
Snow globe.
Yeah. What do you think these people's reactions were when they were like, "Oh, so I'm gonna be a snow globe"? After all of that, you're like, "Cool, I'm gonna be on like international TV, leading entire countries, and now I have to be a snow globe." That's got to be.
I feel like there had to have been like a mixed bag. Like I feel like there were some people who were like, "Oh man, well, all right," and then I feel like there were also some people who were like, "Yes, this is what I was born for." You know what I mean? Like I feel like you probably had both ends of the spectrum, but I feel like you kind of got to buy into it if you're going to do it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you have to be all in on it if you're going to go out there like that. And somebody did, right? So
yeah, more than someone. A lot of people did. Think about how many countries there are. So yeah, let's just go to the summary here. So looking at your picks, it just I think I like your picks better than mine, if I'm being honest, because
I was about to say the same thing, and that's not kissing your rear. Genuinely, like I actually like yours better. So
I don't know, the goalie pads, that's a hot start, and I think like
it is. I had to come out with some heat and then finish with some heat, but you had heat steady through, so that's tough. I got to give you the nod just because I love the Skeletor attire, right? That helmet's undefeated. And then the Oshie jersey, like I truly like love that look. Like even if that moment didn't happen, it still would have made the list. You know what I mean? Like it was still that good of a uniform. And like I said, you and I would both buy those Canada jackets. So like I mean, I don't know. I really like the Heat. I am proud of like the Peaky Blinders pick in the Chinese leg pads pick. But also their jersey is tough. But then, I really did like the Postal Service ski team one and trying giving them some respect because a lot of people crapped on them. So that's why I had to throw them up there.
No, yeah, I do like those though. Like I'm like I said, when I first saw them, I was like, "What's going on with that?" And I looked closer, I was like, "Oh, those are actually like nice. Like I would wear that. Like I actually would." But yeah, dude, Winter Olympics are just. They're a sight to behold. Like I truly think that they are the superior Olympics.
Yeah, and I understand. Like I know there's some people that it's probably hard for you to get into, and especially like, depending on where you grew up. Like I can't imagine that there's a ton of people in Texas that are pumped about the Winter Olympics. You know what I mean? But you should be in support of your wonderful country, but also, man, give it a shot because they are just the most exhilarating things to watch. And it's like you only got to commit for 2 weeks every 4 years. You know what I mean? So like it's not bad, man. Great way to spend time and great way to learn about some stuff.
Yeah, not only that too, they're on 24/7. So if you just
you can always find an event.
I literally have it on right now. Like I'm literally watching it right now. Like it's on all like literally 24/7 because I mean like all these networks most of the time it's BS they're putting on like USA. Who watches USA? Like who watches CNBC? Like yeah. So like this is like where they get most of the views, right? Like there are a few sports that I'm not. Biathlon, that's one that didn't make the list. Biathlon is a crazy sport. Biathlon is, dude. Biathlon is now the cross country skiing. Not great. That portion of it.
Just throw a gun in there.
But yeah, and now it's electric, and now you're like, oh wow, they can't move on. This person was in first place, and now they're in 14th because they couldn't hit a target. Like
we should start throwing guns into other sports.
I agree, and yeah, and it doesn't even. They're not even carrying real guns. It's just like a little pop gun, dude. It's like a little BB gun.
Let swimmers have a rifle on their back, have to stop and hit targets in the air.
Yeah, like they already have Olympic clay shooting, but just
yes, in midair, dude. I'll tell you what, we are on to something, Smallsy. I'm telling you, man. That's a good one.
Look at that, dude. All right, Benny, let's wrap this up. This has been the Vault Weekly Show where we take a look back at some of the best and worst looks in sports. This week we did the Olympics. The Winter Olympics. Got to clarify that too. So appreciate everyone joining in, watching us. Appreciate all the viewers every week. We really do appreciate it. We're trying to grow this thing.
We love you, viewers.
We love you. Hey, I'm moving back to Pittsburgh soon. Ben, I already started.
Let's go!
I already started sketching out some of the studio layouts. I'm trying to come up with a way to kind of do it where like both of us are on camera, where we can kind of both like, I'm trying to figure out a way to do it. I think that as much as I love doing it over Zoom, I want to do it in person, and we won't do it every week.
Absolutely.
We probably can't do it every week, and that's fine. But we want to do it at least a few times because I think, like, every time that
we could do like once a month. I
agree with that.
I feel
once
like
a month, once every 2 weeks, once every 2 months. It doesn't matter. Like,
yeah,
and I think it'll be special when we get our first episode in person in the books. Like,
and to tide you over till then. It's going to be a secret for now, but next week we're welcoming our first guest of season 2. So,
look at that.
Hey, we're grinding things out. We told you things are coming. Just be patient with us. We're doing it again. Not to reiterate, but to reiterate. Be a friend, tell a friend, share, subscribe. Please show us some love if you have enjoyed anything if you enjoy anything in life. Yeah. Please do those things.
Do you have eyes that work?
Do you love sports? Are you a functioning human? Then there we go.
There we go.
The vault's for you.
There we go.
Okay. And we're here for you.
We are.
So let us.
Yeah.
If you want us to keep entertaining you, please just, give us an old pat on the back. Yeah. That's all we're looking for.
That's all we're looking for. Yeah. All right, guys. We appreciate it. Benny, cheers to your imaginary drink. I don't hold it against you.